Hello and welcome to Meridian News Now. I'm Elena Cousineau. Thanks for joining us. On July 14th, the Justice Department released a report stating that several FBI officials failed to respond to allegations against Larry Nassar almost a year before the investigation began. With this report being released, Michigan Representative Alyssa Slotkin said, "This kind of government failure is unacceptable. I'll be requesting a private briefing to understand how these failures were able to occur. We will continue to follow this story as it develops." The CDC announced on July 8th that fully vaccinated individuals do not need a booster shot. Although Pfizer announced plans to seek authorization for a COVID-19 booster dose, federal health officials said the vaccines are able to protect from severe illnesses, death, and emerging variants. We'll go to local news now. Meridian Township Director of Community Planning and Development, Tim Schmidt, held a public hearing on July 7th. The main course for the evening was the discussion of recent amendments to the Village of Okemos project. Our own Logan Sella has more.
The Village of Okemos project, a long-running proposal to build commercial and residential space near the Douglas J. Hair Salon on Okemos Road, has again come to public interest after new amendments have been proposed to further cut commercial space on the plan. Director of Community Planning and Development, Tim Schmidt, led a public hearing on the matter this week.
And so they're trying to right-size the project for the current market conditions. With that said, it's a moving target. They have heard a lot of feedback already, even before this public hearing, about the buildings on Okemos Road. And so they are already starting to look into, okay, how do we make this work?
True North Development is the company backing current proposals. Leading developer Will Randall was on hand for the meeting as well. Hear what he had to say about the cost-related subtractions.
Tim, this is certainly something that we don't want to do. We're trying to figure out a project that we can build. We've seen the cost per space more than double since we started looking at this project 2 years ago.
This is the ground in question behind me. You can see the intersection of Hamilton and Okemos Road. As expected, amendment proposals were met by some pushback by township residents. Have a listen.
And I implore you to squash this plan, because this is not what the agreement was.
The proposal no longer becomes a downtown that is attractive to people in the community coming down.
And I would be ready to drop the whole project and wait.
There is still optimism among township officials, however. Hear economic developer Amber Clark's take.
I am definitely in favor of the project. Now that times have changed, we really need to redevelop and revitalize the DDA area, which means we got to take this to a whole nother level, and we're creating a downtown.
The new amendment requests still require approval from Schmidt, and if successful, the project will still need to pass a number of permits through the township board, but construction could still begin by as early as this winter. From Okemos, I'm Logan Sella, HOMTV.
This will continue to be an ongoing story, and we will keep you updated as the project progresses here at HOMTV. On Wednesday, July 12th, the Planning Commission held a meeting to discuss the proposal for a special use permit for the construction of a Sparrow emergency room building located on the north side of Jolly Row, east of Kansas Street. When the local residents of the area in question were asked to comment on said proposal, they had this to say.
The development of a dedicated 24/7 freestanding emergency department increases noise levels, as the study has shown from Martin, traffic on Jolly Road, and carries significant risks to the safety of all neighbors, including especially the children. Patients who admit themselves into emergency departments, including those seeking mental health services, may wander around in the surrounding area, threatening the peace and tranquility of the neighbors. Additionally, spot rezoning these two residential parcels to commercial or office goes against the township vision statement and the master plan. In summary, the risks and disadvantages of the ER facility in this particular location far outweigh the benefits.
To me, a primary care where I can go to a doctor and maybe a small-scale emergency room where I can, get medical health support is better than another restaurant that may close in a year or two, or just random offices that there are quite a few vacant of them already and kind of turning to a messy places on Jolly Road. So again, I'm not in a big favor of another business, but I'm just looking realistically alternatives.
By the end of the meeting, the Planning Commission was unable to take a straw poll on the subject. This topic will be back on the agenda for their July 26th meeting. The Meridian Township Board met in person for the first time this year on Tuesday, July 13th. One major topic of discussion was the citizen survey and question 34, which concerned the legality of recreational marijuana in the township. Some board members felt that the question should not be included in the survey, while others argued that it should be included. Trustee Patricia Jackson was in favor of removing the question. Here's what she had to say.
I think that question 34 continues to be contentious and disruptive to this process. I do not believe the question as written provides sufficient information and clarity in terms of what has happened already, what the actions the board has taken already. And so to eliminate that disparity, I would prefer to see question 34 completely eliminated.
Ultimately, this question was removed from the survey by the board in a 4-3 vote. The rest of the survey was then approved in a 6-1 vote. During April of 2020, 73 police officers, paramedics, and firefighters in Meridian Township had to come into work during the pandemic with no time off, according to Township Manager Frank Walsh. After receiving an appreciation payment of $1,000 in April of 2020, Manager Walsh asked the board for a second round for those in police and fire. Here's what he had to say about it.
And I'm asking you tonight to consider a second payment to the police and firefighters, all who are sworn, paramedics I should add as well, firefighter, paramedics, and police officers. And we have approximately right now 67, 68. And so that $1,000 payment would go through payroll. You end up with $700 and some typically. And so that's what I'm asking and requesting on behalf of Director Tehoff and myself.
The Township Board approved a second payment of $1,000 in a 6-0 vote during the July 13th Township Board meeting. Governor Gretchen Whitmer signed the 2021-22 school aid budget on Tuesday, July 13th. The budget raises the per-pupil funding in schools to $8,700, and the whole budget totals $17.1 billion. The significance of this budget is that it helps close the funding gap in K-12 schools throughout Michigan. The budget also increases funding to early education programs and mental health programming for students. We'll stay in school for a bit longer. The Hazlet Board of Education called a short notice, previously unscheduled meeting last week. Well, welcome back, Logan Sella, who is on the scene.
Hi guys, Logan Sella here. I'm just outside of the Hazlet Public School Administration Building. A special Board of Education meeting is just getting done behind me. There were a couple matters at hand, however, the headliner was the appointment of a new board member to fill a recent vacancy. Have a listen to how it went and meet the newest board member. A special July 8 Hazlet Board of Education meeting was held to interview and finalize a candidate for a recent vacancy left behind by Trustee Greg McCoud. There were 4 candidates who interviewed for the position, all of whom answered 7 questions over a 20-minute period in front of the other 7 current board members. After a deliberation of over 40 minutes, the board motioned and approved Monica Del Castillo to fill the opening. When asked what she brings to the table, here's what she had to say.
Well, I think that they are getting a seasoned educator. I have both taught as well as provided counseling. And most recently, I was the president of the Academic Senate at Lansing Community College. And so I have significant experience. I'm also, being Cuban, I bring diversity. And in the world that we live in, I think that that is really critical. Kids need to see people of different ethnicities, different cultures, as teachers, as administrators, because if they see it, then they think they can be it.
Del Castillo will fill the vacancy through the election cycle of November 2022. From Hazlitt, I'm Logan Sella, HOMTV.
Welcome aboard, Monica. More information on the board and future meetings can be found on the administration's official website. Okemos Public Schools will no longer identify as the Chiefs, a name adopted after the legacy of Chief Okemos, chief of the Saginaw Chippewa tribe. HOMTV's Catherine Weddle has more on the story.
The history of Chief Okemos runs deep in Meridian Township. For years, community members have been retelling his story of leadership to friends and family. But with social injustice and systematic racism at the focus of our country's thoughts, the Okemos Public Schools Board of Education unanimously voted to leave behind the Chief's nickname. This process can be traced back to the 1980s, when the Okemos Public Schools logo, at the time a Native American silhouette, was first questioned.
Certainly there's been division in the community, and we've heard from a lot of people that are supporting the change, and we've heard from people voicing also that they're upset with the change. And that really just goes to the historical divisiveness of this issue. That's been a common theme since the 80s, that thread of the community not being able to rally around or get agreement on what is the mascot of the Okemos Public Schools.
Outside Okemos High School lies an entrance sign that flashes the phrase, "Stronger Together." But eliminating the Chief's nickname seems to be an issue the community can't come together on.
I fully support the administration and board's unanimous decision to transition to a new mascot and logo for the district. This is a forward-thinking decision that demonstrates through action our district's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion.
By removing the chieftain name, you're attempting to erase history rather than teach it and learn from it. Aaron Payment was quoted in a July 19th, 2020 Detroit Free Press article saying, "Individual Indians do not speak for their nation, yet you've chosen to use Dr. Payment as a voice of all Native Americans representing our chiefs."
The estimated total cost for the nickname change is about $427,000 for new uniforms, scoreboards, signage, and merchandise.
Native American Heritage Fund, NAHF, and pleased to announce that we received their largest grant award given out this year of just over $213,000 to offset the costs of the mascot change.
Superintendent Hood says the board will continue to not only educate, but include the community in the new nickname decision. In Meridian Township, Catherine Weddle, HOMTV.
As of now, the school board plans to develop a committee to choose a new nickname. The school board will be working with current students, alumni, and other community members throughout the entire process. For more information on Chief Okemos and the school board's decision, visit the Okemos Public Schools website. CATA workers protested in Lansing last week, asking for a more fair contract. HOMTV Lucy Van Regenmorter has the story.
During last week's Capital Area Transportation Authority Career Fair, current CATA employees stood outside in protest. Workers stood outside for hours demanding fair contracts, adequate pay, and sufficient benefits.
It's Local 1039. CATA workers want a fair contract. We've been working for 19 months without a contract.
Negotiations have been happening for over a year with little to no progress. Some workers say they have not gotten off 2 days in a row or a weekend for years.
It doesn't look real responsible when you're spending thousands of dollars on a job fair when you have the best workforce that could be your job fair for you. You don't need to advertise when you treat your employees with respect. They will bring good employees to you.
Workers also mentioned the frequency of ride cancellations, stating that they will be sent on routes in Meridian Township from East Lansing, only to get there and find out their route has been canceled.
All we're asking for is to be fair. Treat the employees with respect.
CATA has not responded to requests for comment. In Lansing,
Investigation remains ongoing. HOMTV will bring you the latest information on this story as soon as it is available. Just because it's summer doesn't mean that everyone is on vacation. If you receive an email or phone call from someone claiming to be a government official, remain alert as it could be a scam. Remember that the State Treasury Department does not demand immediate payment, threaten with police enforcement, threaten to seize a taxpayer's property, or ask for credit or debit card numbers over the phone or email. If you feel unsure about an email or phone call, call the Treasury's Collections Service Center at 517-636-5265. Since September 2020, Meridian Township has shared an assessing agreement with the City of East Lansing. Both East Lansing and Meridian Township use the services of David Lee, a master-level assessor. Last month, Lee announced his decision to pull back from Meridian Township, and at the June 1st Township Board meeting, Township Manager Frank Walsh announced the person he would like to take over Lee's position. Ashley Winstead has served as a Level 3 assessor for the City of Howell since 2018. She went through multiple interviews with Meridian Township before being hired on. HOMTV's Isabella Martin got a chance to speak with Winstead during the latest episode of Virtual View. Let's take a look.
So originally I actually taught for quite a few years, and I was a math teacher for a long time and decided that I wanted to try a different avenue. So I had been studying assessing. My husband and I have built multiple homes, and I just felt like getting into assessing would be a good opportunity for me. So actually prior to coming here, I was the assessor for the City of Howell. And so I'm happy to be here.
The board voted unanimously to appoint Winstead to Township Assessor. From all of us at HOMTV, welcome to Meridian Township. The Board of Review will meet on Tuesday, July 20th at 10 a.m. to hear requests regarding property tax assessments. The meeting will be held at the Assessing Conference Room upstairs in the Meridian Township Municipal Building. If you have any questions regarding the July Board of Review, call the Assessing Department at 517-853-4400. Lil Meals Italy, a new restaurant that serves authentic Italian and American cuisine, officially opened last Wednesday, July 7th in the food court in the Meridian Mall. The original date for the grand opening was scheduled in March and was postponed due to delay with supplies. Several Meridian Township officials were also present to show their support. HOMTV spoke with the owner of Lil Meals Italy, Lucy Shawano, who said she's happy her business has finally opened to the public and found opportunity in what used to be an A&W All-American food restaurant.
There were places here previously before the COVID-19, but it didn't work out. It's just either it was too small or there was two of us that applied for the same thing, and I didn't win it. But this one, waiting for this location, it's actually perfect.
Shawano said if her business succeeds, she wants to expand to a full-blown restaurant. From all of us at HOMTV, congratulations and welcome to our community. Lanes have been closed from Mount Hope Road to Grand River Avenue due to paving work. The construction started on July 12th. Construction is expected to be completed by Labor Day. Detours have been set in place and drivers are advised to seek an alternative route. If you have been outside recently, you most likely noticed a large increase in mosquitoes. HOMTV's Catherine Weddle is live in the field to tell us more.
Thanks, Elena. During the spring, Mid-Michigan was lucky to not experience a typical mosquito hatch due to the drought. However, after recent rainfall and increased heat, it seems mosquitoes have taken over parts of the Lower Peninsula, including Meridian Township. Although it's not possible to treat every part of the community, township building areas and parks get sprayed annually for mosquitoes. Contractors are also available for residents to treat their own properties, including Mosquito Squad, Knock 'em Out Pest Control, and Orchid. The Parks and Rec Department encourages township residents to protect themselves by wearing long clothing to cover your skin, using mosquito repellent, making sure your doors and windows have tight fitting screens, and eliminating sources of standing water, such as old tires and buckets. In Meridian Township, Catherine Weddle, HOMTV. Back to you, Elena.
Thanks, Catherine. Although mosquitoes can be bothersome, the Parks and Rec Department reminds residents that mosquitoes are an excellent food source for wildlife. To protect these species, spraying is being kept at a minimum in the parks. The Green Meridian team will be hosting a medicine collection at the Farmers Market on July 17th from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. The collection and Farmers Market are found at the new marketplace on the Green. Guidelines for the event are: remove old medicine bottles from bottles or blister packs, accept liquids and controlled medications, and place in Ziploc bags. Keep controlled medications in original containers and cross off the name on the container. For medicine disposal at other times and locations, visit the Ingham County Health Department's website below or contact the Meridian Township Police Department at 517-853-4800. Last week, the Farmers Market began its annual summer season launch on Wednesday at the Marketplace on the Green Pavilion by Central Park Drive in Okemos. With over 40 vendors to shop from, the Farmers Market features a variety of products and fresh produce, sourced from local farmers and small businesses around Michigan. Along with an assortment of seasonal summer products, the Farmers Market is a place where community members can support vendors and food trucks while listening to local artists perform. Here's what one of the vendors had to say.
The nice thing about Farmers Markets is you get to meet a lot of different people too, but also it's a lot of the community feel here. A lot of people here are like coming to buy specifically from farmers that they know and trust and trying to get those locally sourced ingredients, which is really important for us as well to like participate in that community, but also customers that you find here, you can actually like build a relationship because they'll come back week after week, versus getting it in like a supermarket or like selling other ways or selling on our online store.
The Parks and Recreation Director, Luann Maisner, stated that every Wednesday night from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. there will be a musical performance on stage, alongside cornhole and arts and crafts for the children to enjoy through July and August. The Farmers Market is open this summer on Wednesdays from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. and Saturdays between 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. every week, beginning from May until October. Looking for live entertainment this summer? Well, the Meridian Township Farmers Market will be hosting concerts every Wednesday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. The summer concert series kicked off on July 7th. It might have rained, but it did not stop musician Steve Spees from opening the very first show of the season. Spees has been playing the saxophone for 46 years and is currently in the middle of playing 55 shows in 61 days.
I've always wanted to do more community type things. I'm from the area, so it was kind of good to play in my hometown, and so I decided that's something I wanted to do. So I approached them, and then they got back with me and decided they'd open up for me this year.
Residents from Meridian Township enjoyed listening to a variety of smooth jazz, blues, and country songs. Other upcoming performers for the concert series will include Joe Wright, Tommy Foster, Sea Cruisers, and many more. For more information on Meridian Township's summer concert series, visit meridian.mi.us. That's all for today's episode of Meridian News Now. Remember, you can stay up to date with Township News by following us on Facebook, Twitter, and of course, HOMTV.net. I'm Elena Cousineau. Thanks for watching and have a great day.